This is going. It should be making sound. It's not. There you go. This is going. Woo! All right. I don't know what I did, how I did it, but we fixed it. I couldn't get no audio. I renamed it. Let's see how much it follow. Once I catch up to where I'm talking right now, we'll go ahead and proceed. It should be making sound. That's not. There you go. This is going. Woo! All right. I don't know what I did, how I did it, but we fixed it. I'll try something. Hopefully, don't mess it up. I renamed it. Hello. Once I catch up to where I'm talking right now, we'll go ahead and proceed. Free flowing. It should be making sound. That's fine. There you go. This is going. Woo! All right. I don't know what I did, how I did it, but we fixed it. I'll try something. Hopefully, don't mess it up. I renamed it. Hello. Once I catch up to where I'm talking right now, we'll go ahead and proceed. Free flowing. It worked. All right, so I'm gonna turn this off. I'm so sorry. I should go ahead and start a fresh stream, just so y'all don't have to. Well, no, technical difficulties is a part of it. We ain't here though. Got to stream back. Oh, this is the bad part. So now I'm going to see if the remote access of me on the other computer is, that's what the internet says. That's what's making it do that. Although I feel like we had sound in the past. All right. So now for the moment of truth. Let's see if our audio still working. La 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 la. It's the one and only. All right. So now for the moment of truth. Let's see if our audio still working. Still working. La 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 la. It's the one and only. Yeah. All right. So now for the moment of truth. Let's see. My audio still working. It's the one and only. So far, it's continued to work. My audio still working. It's the one and only. So far, it's continued to work. My audio still working. Sorry for the feedback. I'm trying to make sure because I recorded the whole stream earlier and it didn't have no audio. I don't know what the problem was, but we good now. All right. So let's pick up where we left off. I'm going to go ahead and close that window. We left off in the code. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. There we go. And let's see. All right, I'm good with that. All right, so we're going to go through this code. Made a tile map, and I'm pretty sure we already done been that far before, so we'll probably do it again. We'll probably end up converting the whole map to tile to make our life easier. And when you don't stream for a couple of days, it gets hard to get things back in order. Let's see. I'm about to roll through this. It's about to let the homies know. Yeah, what up, homies?
It's Diddy.
Yeah, what's up? It's Diddy. Bottles popping room service. What's up, bro? I was about to tell y'all I'm streaming right now. If y'all wanted to hop in the stream.
Say streaming.
Yeah, I'm streaming. I'm going over some code right now. I was testing some stuff I did, like I'm making this other video game. The one that my brother said I never finished. So I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, I see that. Let's take a look.
Let's see. So I'm basically going over code right now. I'm about to break down what we got so far in the game. Actually, I'll pull it up for whenever y'all do hop in. Y'all can see what the game looked like so far. Let's see. Do it like this. All right. I just I'll do that. I just share the link to the stream in the Discord. What's in it?
I don't know, bro. That niggas didn't come in and say something there. Well, it disappeared, man.
I gotta change. It's my stream title still say January. I'm February 2025. Switch it. Let me see.
That man goes to the store and get some milk, man. Don't come back.
Always. And today is the 19th. There we go. I'll change the description. Just vibing.
Look at that on my phone.
Here we go. All right. You can see the character moving around the screen. It should be moving now. It got a little bit of a delay, so you should be able to see it in a second. I put a couple trees in on the collisions for those trees, but not on the show that off. I'm going back to the code because I use a lot of AI. Whenever I did the coding, but then I used some AI to kind of make stuff go together because it was different concepts I wanted to add, but I wasn't sure how to do it and factor it correctly. So I use AI to do it. So now I'm about to go back through. So we had the tiles. Wow. Got a for loop. For Y, row and enumerate tile map. For X, tile and enumerate row. And so my question would be row itself. I know where tile map came from. It came from right there. I didn't see us define anything called row. So that was a question for me. But yeah. Let's see. I'm about to get back to the stream, but y'all say I never let y'all know when I'm streaming, so I put y'all on.
Gotcha.
All right. I'll hop back in the Discord later. I'm gonna keep streaming for a little bit. All right. So I had to let my brother and my homie know that I'm streaming because they said I'll be telling them when I'm streaming. But here we go. Back over in the tile map. I can see our tiles.
Yo, why the fuck is it cold?
There we go. Let me see. And the script specifically say for Y row and enumerate tile map. So for Y row and enumerate tile map. And they define row right here actually. Row comes here. Tile map was already established for Y row and enumerate tile map. Then for X for X tile and enumerate row. So that's basically, this is kind of how it's pairing. I think I'm starting to understand it. What they did was, we have a tile defined. We have a tile map. We have a tile size. And what it's saying is put a tile for every X. So basically we matching. I have to look into that deeper. But overall, the color equals colors dot get tile. Oh, because I did this one instead of images. X times tile size, comma, Y times tile size. Screen position, camera dot apply, world position. Pygame dot rect. And then the parameters, the screen, color, screen position, X, Y, and then tile size. Tile size by tile size. Actually, instead of cheating us out of that, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put it in Claude. Excuse me. Gotcha. Got it. It's iterating across. It makes sense. Let's say iterate. It's enumerating. Thank you, Claude. So they start making classes. Self dot position equals. At the base center of the tree. So we got one type of tree. That's the common tree. Then we got a second type of tree. I don't like the when they do them in like if statement. Excuse me. So all I have to do for the tree images that I have is to count the pixels so I go back to A Sprite, get the dimensions for it, and then make another tree. And I'm sure that all I have to do is say um, elif right here, and then the next one will be else, and I can just keep on doing elif for all of the tree types that I have. But then I need to make another class called builder or structure. Excuse me. So I will send a question out to the chat. Check on the stream. Tell me if you can see the question and if it lets you answer. If anybody wants to try to answer that, if they can see it. I'm just curious how it works. Whew. Can't see it or can? Let me see how it looks. Okay, cool. And then so y'all just hop in there and y'all can comment or whatever. That's cool. All right, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna get back at it. Whew. So all this is kind of self-explanatory because I actually had to make a prompt that specifically gave each of these dimensions, so I understand what this is and where it's coming from. And so I'll be able to add more trees. And when the time comes, it's like I have to do that for each of them. The okay, so the collisions came outside of the if statement. Whew, excuse me. if your exposition, so it's representing the exposition for the character, probably be the bottom corner, minus truth width divided by 2, or the Y position minus the collision height. Trunk width, collision height. I can't 100% say I understand that. Probably need to go touch up on my collisions or my collision logic. I'm not even gonna say probably. I might end up going to sleep early, but I'm gonna fall asleep watching some clear code. Draw in one position, draw the tree image with base center as a position. So you set the collision. Draw. They made new variable. Self dot collision rate. Self dot collision underscore rate. Dot collide rate. Here's the camera. It's a whole nother class, but here's the camera. Whew. All right. I should change all of this to the language to make ground.
There you go.
What's that?
There's all this.
Excuse me. You know what? I think
What?
I like the little games. If you play any games on your mobile phone, the little advertisement with like the survival whiteout. When you go around and you chop wood and you put enough wood in the payout, or you kill enough polar bears to get meat. You put the meat in, give you something to put like on the steak burner, and it converts it into steaks, and then you get the steaks to the people for money. You put enough money on something else, and it progresses you through. I think well, it's almost like a mini game or a series of mini games that make like a one whole objective. But I think I don't know if anybody put anything for what they like to see next, but I think the next thing we want is like some type of mechanic, some type of game loop, right? So right now I just got a character that can float around, do whatever. Um, I'll tell y'all what I'm gonna do tonight. For tonight, I'm gonna do some art. I'm gonna finish the building that I was working on already. Excuse me. Hey Sandra, thanks. Let me go ahead and show that to the stream. Should be able to like pin it. Thank you, Sandra. Ooh, one. um, Definitely appreciate y'all interacting with the stream. Sandra, if you had anything you'd like to see, let me see if I can find you on Discord right quick. Phew. To Discord. And oh, I'm certain I put it in correctly, but I don't see you. So maybe check your tag and try to resend it. But I'd be happy to add you to our Discord, and you can be kind of like inside scoop even when we're not streaming of things that we're doing. So thank you, Sandra, for participating. Somebody from text server. All right. So where are we at with it? Over here. I said I was gonna do art. So for the update, that's the other thing I really wanted to look at. So we got old position, so that position, copy, update position, player collision self, dot collision reg, collision detected false, for tree in trees, if tree dot check collision, player collision, collision detect is true. Break. I'll keep the opposition. So like instead of letting it go past, that makes sense. This is just a barrier, basically. And there'll be different types of collision. That's to say, I'm gonna do some collision studying tonight. Self dot position X at the world boundaries. This is all for collisions. Keep us inside. I really don't like my health bar over my head. I'd rather have it like as like a UI type thing, like overlaying the screen. But here I can add as many trees as I want. It has to do with their position and then their type, 1 or 2. That's so I can make like a type 3, 4, and I actually already have the trees made. You can see over here, Dragon Common Tree 1, Dragon Common Tree 2, Dragon Blossom Tree, Dragon Green Tree, Dragon Willow, and then we got like different types of vegetation and flowers, got different types of rocks. So we already got the things we want to add in, and I'll add like a rock class. And I can add obviously we'll add a rock class. So I'll go ahead and do that now. But I'm going to comment it out and we'll come back to it. Class tree. So go ahead and do comment. Class rock. And then it made a class rock. Wow. And it already knew. This is the kind of cool thing about AI because, like, I actually wanted to code that and it stole from my comment and just made a class rock and already has the common rock. Um, and there obviously need to be some collisions. Let's see if that will fly or if that will make our game crash. It did not make our game crash because we put the code in there, but we haven't called the code. Yo, bro, I promise you, I'm about to come on stream right quick so I can talk to y'all before I close the stream. That was cool though. That it did that, and that's like where it was the big discussion about what's it called, assisted AI assisted coding and stuff like that. Big divide between like AI created games. But when you look at it, like your tools have AI in them, so you can't really get around it. Let me hop back on stream though. Boom. There I go. All right, so we hung out for a little bit. We studied some code basically to better understand how and what we want to put in there. And as you can see, like as we're searching around, it's the the coding environment is basically ready to overflow, um, ready to just throw the next thing at us and help us out. So, but as one thing, I don't want to just like cloud code the whole game and not understand any of it because I do like to code. I'm a little bit rusty, but I plan on sharpening up. I plan on keeping up with what we put in there, taking time out to understand what we put in so that I can not get to places where I'm super stuck and have to rely on uh, the computer or rely on cloud code specifically, and like putting it in and telling it what I want, and it's just like breaking what we already have type situation. That ain't no fun. And that's one thing about coding. Like if you put in what you know you're trying to achieve, then you should get that, right? Not like I'm putting in a prompt and it's like taking me through 5 iterations of worse things that are making what I already had not good anymore. And the only way to really prevent that is to understand what we already have and then build from there. Like try to build with understanding. So like the whole rock thing, right? We know that we have trees and we understand how the trees are like put in. We understand the collision for the most part. We understand like the collision points or the data points that we enter for the trees and how those work. So we could go back and do the same things for the rock class now and then find where I guess the draw method is for the trees and then copy something similar or regurgitate that from the rocks and then go down to the update method and then also um, have the rocks updated. The reason I came on stream or the reason I wanted to talk to y'all for a second is because I promise you there are going to be things in this game. We're going to finish this game. Um, Lord willing, I live long enough to see it through. We're going to finish this game. And there's going to be things in these streams that y'all see that whenever you go to play the game, if you were watching the stream, because like that right there was case in point. Let me go to that line of code. That right there is case in point. We can put code in that just sits in the background in the dark and does nothing until it's called, right? So that like opens up so many opportunities for like secret bosses and different like hidden levels and Easter eggs and uh, like invincibility mode, whatever it is. So I'm not saying there's gonna be an invincibility mode, but what I am saying is like if something like that gets put into the game, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna happen while we're on stream, or the idea for it's gonna happen while we're on stream. And I'm probably gonna shout it out. I'm probably gonna call it out, and we're just gonna keep on rolling. So, um, for everybody who rocking with me, I appreciate y'all from the very beginning of the journey. Y'all see how far like our Sprite collection has come. That didn't happen overnight, um, and now we're back at it. So for everybody who has been on the journey with me, and everybody who will come to come along, I'm gonna keep preaching the same thing. If you're rocking with me, you're gonna see what's up. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna put together an awesome game. I'm not a quitter. I do believe in finishing things. So as awesome and as fantastical as our game is planned out to be, at some point, someday it will be. It already is. It ain't materialized yet because we ain't put in the work yet. But we've definitely done like the brainstorming. I go on my Google Docs. I got like a 4-page Google Doc of just lore, and another Google Doc of just mechanics. And so as the game is already, thought out exactly, and it's kind of a larger scope. But like I said, one thing at a time. Like today, just looking over code. The biggest thing is going to be the art assets, getting the collisions on the art assets for like the buildings. Had to go back through because I knew how to do it at one point, and I know it's not hard to do. But basically, put like collision points on the like entrances for the building, so that when you go in, it takes you like to a separate area, like where you're going inside the house, but like in code wise, it's like a different map. So it'll be like an additional tile map that pops up whenever you walk inside of a building, right? And so like that'll give us another aspect where we're going like in and out of environments, kind of like how we were talking about earlier, like the Pokemon thing, where I think a lot of it, Pokemon was my first Game Boy Color game, and I will always be drawn back to like Pokemon itself, especially like if we could have played it like on a TV or like a bigger screen instead of narrowed down to such a small screen. So like bringing a lot of those RPG kind of top down, I've tweaked the perspective a little bit, but those RPG aspects, a little bit of the top down stuff, the exploratory, um, the fighting, I think has a lot to do with like somebody was talking about Street Fighter the other day. It was a comedian and it was hilarious, but he was honest. Like it was one of the best games ever. I do remember playing Street Fighter as a kid. Also remember playing Mortal Kombat. What else? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Dead or Alive was a really good game. For some reason, when everybody talk about Dark Souls and all these Souls games, there was some type of like Souls game that was like straight up like fighter game, like where it was this player versus this player and y'all was going at it. But Dead or Alive was a really good one. Um, Also grew up with a lot of like the Super Nintendo. I think it was Contra Con or something like that, where you like running through the environment, shooting at enemies. Duke Nukem was my first like computer game that was like my favorite game. So like all those little aspects of influence and nuances, um, I feel like are kind of incorporated in this. If you guys recently or one of the more recent releases that make me think about it, yeah, there's Ninja Turtles and all those other games, but like Cobra Kai had a video game, and it was fun. I like Cobra Kai, the video game, but it kind of brought me back to that, like where you're moving through an area, and you have like this beat 'em up area. You have your background and stuff like that. So I want to incorporate like that beat 'em up area and like having those encounters. Also want to include the whole thing where we said like the exploratory and get some quests in there. I think I'm probably not going to do like a quest heavy game as far as like NPC quests and like there will be some like NPC quests, but they're going to be specific. And I'll go ahead and tell y'all right now. Um, I would say it's not going to be very original. My idea of like quests, and I notice a lot of other games do it too. And I'm not trying to make another game that is the same as every other game, but the fairy tales, like the Three Little Pigs, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, little stuff like that, where there's, and you may not recognize it right away, or maybe until somebody says something about it. But then whenever, or like one of them, it just like actually makes it click, and then you think back and you look at them, it's like, wow, all these quests are kind of like different versions of these, like not fairy tales. I think they're called whatever. I don't know, like Grimm fairy tales or whatever. The Brothers Grimm, but each of them are like one of these older stories and like has different characters playing the role, but overall like the core story is still like, oh, this was I get it now. Like, oh, this is just right. So you can go through like like not a campaign, but like a little quest where ultimately you're dealing with characters. And I think that kind of is kind of Red Dead esque, Red Dead 2 esque. But yeah, I do want to have some character quests. Those buildings that I was talking about, I'm working on tonight, are very important to me because um, we're dealing with ninjas. So like the fact that they're gonna be able to jump and they're gonna be able to climb and be able to get up on top of those buildings is cool, and you can use it in your maneuvering. But like also, there's an element of the game where um, there will be enemy NPCs, and whenever they're coming for you, they're coming for you. You feel me? And like screen changes and stuff like that'll happen, and you'll be getting basically stalked by these enemy ninja NPCs that are creeping across the building top, and like they're coming for you regardless. So it's better for you to go ahead and just fight them. You feel me? That's gonna be the funny part about it. I'm not gonna make it where like how you say like you're cornered and you have to like it's fight or die type situation, but like you can run but you can't hide and they're coming for you. So I think that's gonna be a really cool aspect of the game. Um I see we got another viewer, another couple viewers, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull back up what we got so far in the game just to show y'all before I hop off of here. I'm actually gonna I might hop off for a minute, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stream on my other laptop. It's not my stronger laptop, but it's okay because I'm not really looking for like a not really looking for like a really high quality stream. I'm more just gonna be doing artwork, so it'll be cool. Y'all can I'm not even probably really gonna be on camera. I'll probably be like watching a movie with the fam, just chilling while just drawing and a sprite and coloring in our building. I'll go ahead and show y'all. I talked about it earlier, but we didn't have sound. I had to fix that. But basically, in the foreground, so this area, just like my acting area, is right here. It's about 275 pixels. This is the beat 'em up zone. This is where there's only collisions inside of this zone, period. So if it's not inside of this beat 'em up zone, then I can't really interact with it. But this is where the fighting is going to happen. But whenever items enter, I gotta put in the code for it. I kind of just took a break from like the camera system. I need to put in more of the objects so I can really see how well it works. But it's basically going to make it where like whenever these items come into my collision zone, they actually get like a scale up, so it looks more like a perspective thing. So like things that are far away, like that's not my collision zone. It's still smaller, but as I approach it, it comes into my collision zone boom, it gets maybe like 1.5 size, or by the time it's actually at the same line as me, maybe it's times two, whatever. But it's gonna make it where these items, as they come into perspective or as they come into view, they're growing with size as I'm approaching them, and then as I'm moving away from them, they move out of the collision zone back into um, the background, and then they're like scaling down and looking like they're going out of perspective. So things that are close to me, like here, would actually get smaller as I'm getting further away from it. I think that'll be really really cool to add, um, and that'll be cool for the buildings as well as like the trees and stuff, the rocks, all that stuff. I want some extra. I talked about it too a little bit, like the survival whiteout series. Talked about it a little bit where like they have those commercials where you can do a task and it gives you a specific resource and then use that resource to do another thing. Um, I'm definitely going to program something in like that for the trees. That was already in the works where like different trees yield different resources. If you haven't seen my trees, I'll show them to you right quick. We haven't seen my different types of trees and my different types of flowers. Like one type of tree is going to give you some type of like poison for your darts. Another type of tree is going to give you, like the vines from the common tree too. Common tree too has these like vines that are hanging off of it. If you look at it, so like you can use that. Like if you find that tree, you can actually like say farm it for the resource, but like you can get vines from these tree and turn it into ropes and stuff like that. I had like this whole like written out thing. Um, it's been a while, so it's not coming back to me on the top of my head. But like here, you probably would just get something like wood, right? You might use the leaves for some specific medicine or whatever. Here, one of them was going to be for like a perfume. You feel me? So this is like a really pretty flower. Might be something that you use for like a perfume or for makeup or something like that, or a dye for like something in your like the clothing. You could use it for a dye, or the cherry blossom could be used for like blush, like makeup. So that might be a quest where, or it might just be like a normal thing where you like have the merchant or you go to the shop and you ground up so much of this resource and they can use it for whatever, and they use it for makeup. You feel me? Um, Same thing with here. I think this was definitely, I think, like a medicine one. Um, then we had this tree. This the willow, and that was used for something different. Uh, but everything had a purpose. Basically, every type of tree had some type of resource that it gave, and it's kind of like not really the right pixel size for you to be able to see it, like where it looks like really really good, like you would an A sprite, like when I can zoom in and out. But some stuff will be poisonous, some stuff will be helpful, and you'll be able to use the poisonous stuff to help you as well. You got different levels of like vegetation and shrubbery. So like now, this one took a long time. I ain't gonna lie. I can zoom in and out a little bit, but like I took a lot of time to make that sprite to make it look like it looked. It's pretty simple, but at the same time, it's pretty detailed. Same thing with that. We got a little bit of shrubbery there. Another type of like shrubbery where as you're walking around the map, you're not just like walking across the green tiles like y'all was seeing, and all of this stuff will have like collisions, and you'll also be able to use it. So like if you get around like this really like long straight bamboo, those will probably be shorter, weaker ones, but like you'll be able to use it for different stuff. So maybe right here you might get around this, and now you can make like some type of staff or whatever. Um, the rocks I think is really cool. You got like these different types of rocks where you might be able to like maybe have an area where you walk on top of these to get to something, or you have to leap across them to get to something. Um, these like tall spire ones, and like yeah, I think that's really cool. That's a little bit more flatter, so this would be more like something like a hop and peg. This seemed more like it'd be more like a rock that maybe is almost like defensive, where it would be like sticking out of something to keep you from getting to it. It's like a, maybe you can fall on a pit of these type of rocks and die, but hop across a pit like this. Um, got little flat rocks, got sharp rocks. Um, I think there's two types of this tree also. I'm pretty certain there is. I need to go back and look. I'm pretty sure there's two types of that tree. Anyway, let's go dragon spray so we can actually see. Dragon blossom tree, dragon green tree. Said tile sprite, tile sets already had and like tiled. I figured out how to use it at one point, and I'm just rusty on it. I have to get back into it, but uh, yeah, we got a lot of files and stuff to work on. The thing I was about to pull back up, show y'all what I'm gonna be working on tonight. I showed it in the earlier screen, but there wasn't stream. There wasn't no sound. This is what we'll be. I will be working on tonight. Let's see if my pen is on. There we go. And I had a reference over here. What was I using as a reference? I think it was here. It was ResearchGate. It's aggravating because I got the little, I don't know how to beat that. All right. I just want to verify that I'm a human, but traditional Chinese architecture. Now, I'm gonna have different regions. I'm not gonna lie. Like, um, I'm very in love with like the Chinese and Asian like culture and like martial arts and like health practices. Like as far as like dietary stuff and um, breathing, and even India is a part of Asia. So like Asia is huge, but I like the different styles of like energy and breathe in and wholeness and wellness and all that great stuff. So like the map itself, there's gonna be different trees that are in like specific regions, maybe different types of buildings that are in different regions to like express like you're in a different part of the map. So like in one area of the map, it might be like these traditional like Chinese structures, like the old school on the fried rice box where they're like stacked up. And then in other areas, it may look more like Japanese style homes. And then have a different type of tree like the cherry blossom. I think that green one is like more like a bonsai type of joint. So that might be in one area specifically, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so this is the reference I'm gonna be using, and so I don't always have to verify. I think I'm gonna go ahead and download that. Cool. I gotta also go ahead and screenshot it. But I'm gonna be using that as a reference, and I'm gonna be working it over here. But for now, I'm not gonna talk y'all heads off or make it stream longer than it had to be. We've been on for like an hour and a half. The first probably 20 minutes or 30 minutes was troubleshooting. I apologize for that. But we did get to do some cool stuff, go through some code, understand, went through the tile map, learned like what that whole enumerate was about, stuff that we already knew, but like just forgot, kind of a little rusty on. And we'll continue to do stuff like that, like really understanding what we're getting, because AI is a wonderful tool, but if it's doing everything, it turned into like a slot machine almost. Like you ask it for something, and if it gives you what you want, great. But there's a good chance that it's not going to give you what you wanted, and then that sucks because like then it can like take you back two or three steps and mess up something that was already working. Like it took us a bunch of tries to get our camera working the way that it's working, and I was cool with kind of letting the AI guess its way through it because I haven't seen anybody really do the camera like how we're trying to do it as far as like mixing the beat 'em up style with the scaling thing. And we just basically got the beat 'em up area there and kind of took a break because that was stressful. It took a lot of chance or a lot of tries. So, so many tries that I actually ended up paying for a cloud subscription because I went out of like free tokens. So like that was a lot. And I don't want our experience to be at the mercy of tokens or whatever it is. So um, we're gonna do some more research. We're gonna really learn some more so that like when it comes to like put it in the scaling part, yeah, we might ask Claude to do it, but um, mm, we're gonna try to figure it out on our own first, and then maybe let AI tweak it. Because if we just type it in, we ask Claude how to do it, but don't actually copy and paste everything from Claude and start typing in something, Claude will probably VS Code will probably Studio whatever will probably go ahead and finish the line for us and give us what we're looking for, and it'll probably fit better. So, uh, with that being said,